Hello, welcome to the online class, dear students of Honours second year. We were prepared to take your class after COVID spreading, but unfortunately the epidemic has increased, and so we are now taking online classes. Now today I want to take class on your course, that is Introduction to Drama. There are 5 dramas in your syllabus, and the names of the dramas are Oedipus Rex, As You Like It, Arms and the Man, Riders to the Sea, and The Lion and the Jewel. From these 5 dramas, you have to answer 10 brief questions, 5 short questions, and 5 broad questions also. So today I want to discuss about Wallace Wenka's The Lion and the Jewel. That is today's topic is Lion and the Jewel. Before starting the theme of The Lion and the Jewel, I want to say something about Wallace Wenka. It's not possible to read line to line the drama, but I will discuss the drama's theme, the main characters, the plot, the thoughts, and the development of the thought in your classes. I will post the classes gradually, and I want to, as it is online class, it is not possible to finish the drama in one class. Actually, it is not physical class. In physical class, it is also not possible to finish the drama in a day. But I will gradually, part by part, post the classes. And if you want to have some understanding, some thinking from this lecture, then you should follow the lectures gradually. Then what should we say now? I want to say something about Wallace Wenka. Wallace Wenka is a Nigerian playwright, poet, author, teacher, and political activist who received the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1986. For your brief question, you should remember this. He is a Nobel Prize winner, and he got the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1986. He is a prolific writer and versatile genius of Africa. His works are based on society, culture, tradition, and politics of Africa. Whenever he was in Africa, then Africa was under the British colonization. In Lion and the Jewel, we will find a conflict. We will find a conflict here between the modernism and traditionalism. Here this poem, it's not poem, it's a drama. The play takes place over the span of a day, that is Sunday, and it is divided into 3 parts, that is morning, noon, and night. What is Wallace Wenka is from Nigeria. He's an African people. In Lion and the Jewel, in the drama Lion and the Jewel, we will find some hints, and we will be able to know many traditional culture of Africa. Here is a conflict between traditionalism and modernism, Westernism and African culture also. Wallace Wenka was very much politically activist. He was very much active. He's a very much prominent in political field also. In this drama, he wanted to show the African people have the rich cultural traditions and systems of thought that can be considered an alternative to Euro-American traditions. The British people, wanted to impose Euro-American traditions upon the African people, but Wallace Wenka believed that the African people were very much rich in their traditional culture, and there was no need of European culture or European culture or Euro-American culture or tradition to be flourished on the Africa. And this play, The Lion and the Jewel, is a very good representation of his thought. In this play, he wanted to show that the African people had already rich cultural tradition and system. He also claims that he thought that African writers should insert a way. He thought that, and he always wanted to claim that the African writers had a role to play, had a duty to the society and to the African culture. He told that the African writers should insert an African way of living and thinking, and thus the ritual, their convention, their tradition, their rights, beliefs, and customs should work victoriously. That means he wanted to mean that the African writers should their pen to represent the African culture, rights, beliefs and customs. And he wanted to say that the African writers should insert a way of thinking upon the people so that their culture, their rights, their beliefs could reign over the Euro-American culture. Here, in order to project an African representative perspective, we will find a victorious manner of writing in the Lion and the Jewel. Lion and the Jewel is a conflict and clash. Of course, it is a conflict and clash between it is a conflict and clash between values of Western culture and African culture. In this play, we will find three prominent characters. These three prominent characters very effectively help to develop the plot and thinking of the play. The three characters are Baroka, CD and Lakunle. Here, Baroka is the representation of African culture, and Lakunle is the representation of Euro-American culture, and CD is the jewel. And in this play, we will find a very, very deep conflict between Baroka and Lakunle. And Baroka and Lakunle is the representation of Baroka is for African culture and Lakunle is for the British Western culture. And now I want to say something about what do you mean by conflict. Conflict means disagreement. Whenever two people or a group of people are not in the same opinion, whenever they have some objection, they have some disagreement, that's called conflict. Conflict is a disagreement or clash between people, ideas, thoughts, concepts, cultures, and study, values. Of course, there is a conflict of value, of course. Here we will find a deep conflict between the values, that is African value and the Euro-American value. The play is not so easy, but you have to conceive, you have to take the main theme, main gist of the play. Here, Swenka wants to show the victory of the African culture over the Euro-American culture. Values become an unique and sentimental phenomenon that is not only cherished. What do you mean by value? Value means a unique and sentimental phenomenon that is not only cherished but also protected dearly by an individual. Whenever you have some value, you will try your best to protect that value, and you will put your argument, put your beliefs to protect your value. Every individual wants to protect his or her value. So value is very much important, and we will find that Swenka is also trying to preserve, to make his values, but African values, victorious. So value becomes a very much unique and sentimental phenomenon that is not only cherished but also protected by an individual as well. There is a tendency of establishing Western values from the part of Lakunle. Of course, I have already mentioned that Lakunle is the representation of the Euro-American culture. Always in this play, we will find that Lakunle is trying to establish the Euro-African values, but there is a vagueness. He just didn't understand the depthness of his belief. He just apparently wanted to wanted to establish the Euro-American values. So here we will find the tendency of establishing Western values from the part of Lakunle, and there is also a resistance from Baroka. Whenever Lakunle wants to establish the British colonial customs upon the African people, there is always a protest from Baroka. Baroka represents the lion. Here, from the name, we have to clarify who is lion, who is jewel. Baroka is the lion, and CD is the jewel. As a result of his resistance, the conflict between the Western world and the African began to manifest by Baroka and Lakunle, through the fight between old and new system. Whenever Lakunle wanted to show the vagueness of the African culture, and there was always a protest from Baroka. And whenever there is any protest against Lakunle, obviously there was a fight between old and new system. tradition and West norms, modernism and traditionalism, and colonialist and anti-colonialism. So here, whenever we will go through the play, that is The Lion and the Jewel, we'll all over the way, from the activities of the characters, from the dialogues of the characters, from the traits of the characters, we will find there is a conflict, deep conflict between Euro-American culture and African culture. As at that time, the Nigeria was under the colonization of the British regime, though the British, there is a great endeavor to establish the British culture upon the African people, and Ole Swenker tried his best to protest that, to resist that, and he was very much victorious, because his Lion and the Jewel was a very successful successful drama, and it was first staged on the Ibada. It was first staged, and it was very well accepted by the people. In my next class, I will try to discuss more about The Lion and the Jewel. Thank you for today. Thank you very much.